So, you bought a full-size 9mm and think you're hot stuff. Well, strap in, cowboy, because we're roasting them all. Glocks, Staccatos, Tactical dreams. Ain't nobody safe. Let's find out what your pistol really says about you. Alright, partner, let's start with the old Glock 17, the Honda Civic of handguns. Reliable? Well, absolutely. But exciting? About as much as a lukewarm soup. You're carrying one of these, you're probably the type of fella who sets all your clocks 5 minutes fast and still shows up late. That's me. You saw every pistol at the gun shop wall and said, "No, give me the one that looks like a stapler and feels like a frozen fish stick." This thing's got less personality than a tax accountant at a speed dating event, but hey, it does run. Rain, shine, mud, puddle, or dropped in your Aunt Carol's casserole. It'll still go bang. It's a microwave dinner of firearms. Never sexy, always ready. Glock fans love to scream perfection like they're casting a spell, but what they really mean is, I didn't want to think too hard, so I bought the most boring bullet box I could find. You wear khakis to weddings, don't you? Next up, the SIG P320, or as I like to call it, America's first striker-fired jump scare. You saw the word modular and your inner tactical child screamed with joy. "Look, Ma, I can swap out the frame, slide, and personality." Well, congrats, cowboy. You also bought a gun with more ND incidents than a boomer group chat has minion memes. This baby had one job. Go bang when you tell it to. Instead, it sometimes throws a tantrum and goes off like it just heard a bad Yelp review. Yeah, voluntary upgrade. That's corporate for please don't sue us, we're fragile. Ain't nobody ever said voluntary recall when their gun worked right in the first place. But when it's not trying to perform a surprise party for your thigh meat, it actually shoots pretty dang nice. Good trigger, great feel, and it looks pretty sharp. Kind of like a sports car with a recall notice. Fun to ride, but keep a fire extinguisher on hand. HKVP9, German engineering for when you want to feel judged by your own pistol. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing's built tighter than a conspiracy theorist's tinfoil hat. It's slick, it's snappy, and it's got grip panels more adjustable than your cousin's dating standards. But owning one of these means you paid extra to be told "nine" by customer service for the rest of your life. HK don't just hate you, they hate your dreams. They'll sell you the gun, charge you for the mags, and then stare at you like you just asked to pet their purebred schnitzel. It's like a BMW with a trigger. It runs great, costs way too much, and every part is a silent judgment built in. If you buy one, congrats. You just entered a very elite club of people who know what superior metallurgy means and still cry a little after checking their credit card bill. Now look here, the Canik Rival S. This baby says, "I want that staccato look, but I also enjoy not selling plasma." You saw a $2,000 pistol and said, "Hey, what if I got 90% of the performance for 30% of the price and zero emotional baggage?" That's called being fiscally responsible. American hero, my friend. The thing is, this thing's chunkier than a gas station burrito and just as satisfying. It's got weight, it's got sass, and it punches way above its price tag. The trigger is clean. The grip, comfy like your ex's hoodie you never gave back. Shoots flat, eats cheap ammo, and it looks gosh dang good doing it. Honestly, this is a Costco steak of guns. You know it ain't Wagyu, but hot dang does it get the job done. The only downside here is every time you pull it out, someone's gonna ask, "Is that a Staccato?" And you gotta say, "Nah, but I did pay rent this month, so who's a real winner?" And speak of the devil, the Staccato P, the Gucci Glock, the Range Rolex, the Tactical Tesla. This thing screams, "I saw John Wick once and it changed my entire life." You spent $2,000 on a 2011 and now every mag dump feels like a religious experience. It's smooth, it's sexy, it shoots flatter than Nebraska. Trigger's so light it'll confess your crimes that you didn't commit. But let's not kid ourselves, you didn't buy this for performance. You bought this to flex harder than a CrossFitter at Thanksgiving. You show up to the range with a matching belt, custom Kydex holster, and an Instagram bio that says, "DM me for staccato builds." And here is the kicker. The gun's so good, it's better than you. You'll blame wind, glare, planetary alignment, anything but the fact you ain't practiced since last deer season. But hey, if spending your mortgage payment on a gun makes you feel like Keanu in a crisis, then more power to you. Just don't act surprised when the Canik guy drops the same group size and still buys lunch after. Now, looky here, the Springfield Prodigy. This thing showed up to the 2011 party dressed like a prom queen and immediately tripped over its own dress. Springfield said, "Hey y'all, we can make a double stack 1911 too," and then proceeded to drop the ball so hard it punched a hole through the floor. You ever see a pistol that costs over $1,000 and still shows up to work like it called in sick? That's the Prodigy. Feeding issues, extraction issues, accuracy issues. Only thing reliable about this gun is the disappointment you are gonna feel. It's the firearm equivalent of a Tinder date. It says low maintenance, but shows up 2 hours late with a dog and an emotional support vape. Now folks will say, well, if you just tune it a little. Brother, if I wanted a project, I'd finish my truck. This ain't a build kit, it's supposed to be a pistol, not a group science fair experiment. And don't even get me started on Springfield acting all confused when you call him. Oh, yours doesn't run either? Gee, what a surprise, Brenda. It's like buying a steak and getting handed a cow and a knife. You just finish it at home. Now, let me tell you all about the Walther PDP. This pistol is a textbook definition of, but it's got a great personality. You pick it up and it melts into your hand like it was meant to be there. Trigger's so smooth it makes you question your relationship with your other pistols. But look at it. Look at it. This thing got hit with the ugly stick and backed over by a lawnmower twice. It's a gun version of a mullet. Party in hand, crime scene in the looks department. The slide serrations look like they were carved by a raccoon with ADHD. It's got the vibe of a melted transformer left on a car dashboard in Alabama. But don't get it twisted. It shoots. Dang near points itself. Shoots flatter than your cousin Randy's singing voice, but it's, the kind of pistol that wins matches and loses every beauty contest it's entered in. PDP owners don't post pics, they post targets, and that's pretty fair, because the only thing uglier than this gun is the face of the dude it just outshot. Well. Look what we got here. The FN509 Tactical. Gun that screams, I'm a professional, but hides about as well as a kangaroo in skinny jeans. Trust me, it ain't pretty. You drop $900 on a carry pistol that conceals about as effectively as a traffic cone, brother. This thing prints through drywall. You carry this appendix and suddenly you got a new belly button. But FN don't give a crap. They said, we're gonna make this thing thick with 2 C's, tactical with 1 C, and then tougher than a Waffle House cooked during a hurricane. And they did. Threaded barrel, optics ready, tall boy sights. It's a war machine, but it don't fit in your pants. Carrying this thing's like trying to hide a cinder block in a pair of joggers. If subtlety was a requirement, the 509 Tactical failed out of class on the first day. FN owners are the type who unironically say operator and practice mag reloads in the mirror shirtless. They ain't worried about printing, they want you to know. That bulge on their hip ain't insecurity, it's Belgian steel and bad decisions. The pistol that tried so hard to win Glock's friends over, but still eats lunch alone at the polymer table. This thing's better than Glock in just about every way. The trigger's cleaner, the grip comfier, accuracy tighter, but nobody talks about it because it ain't got the hype. It's a pistol equivalent of the valedictorian with no Instagram. CZ said, let's make the Glock killer. And they did, but somehow nobody noticed. Like building a supercar in a barn and forgetting to invite anybody to the track the next day. P10F owners are the nerds of the gun world, but I mean that in the best way. They read the spec sheets. They did the math. They chose this pistol while everyone else was distracted by marketing. But man, bless their hearts, they still gotta explain what they're carrying every single time. No, it's not a Glock. No, it's not a Canik. Yes, it's good. Please clap. This gun's like your friend who's a genius but still single, overqualified, underappreciated, and constantly misunderstood. Alright, now let's talk about the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 2.0. America's #1 choice for people who called mild salsa spicy and think acoustic covers of pop songs are edgy. This gun right here is what happens when a bunch of corporate fellas in fleece vests get together and say, how do we make a pistol that absolutely no one will remember? It ain't bad, but it's also about as exciting as a PowerPoint on sock design. Pull the trigger? Bang. Hold it? Feels fine. Look at it. Looks like a pistol your HR department would issue during active shooter training. You buy an M&P 9 because you didn't want to think too hard and you sure as heck didn't want to get judged at the range. You wanted to be safe, comfortable, emotionally neutral, the grilled chicken breast of pistols. M&P owners are the kind of folks who still use Internet Explorer and say, I'm not really into politics during Thanksgiving dinner. And bless them, they're usually nice, dependable, quiet, the type that volunteers for church parking duty and never forgets to return Tupperware. God bless you. But flashy? Cool? The word memorable? Not a chance, hotshot. It's a gun for folks who thinks mid is a lifestyle, and they love it that way. Yeah, buddy, here we go. The Taurus G3 Tactical. You ever see a pistol that's trying so dang hard to impress the cool kids that it forgets to do its own homework? That's this thing right here. Taurus took their budget blaster, slapped on a threaded barrel and some dollar store slide cuts and yelled, "Tactical!" like it was gonna summon a Delta Force operator through the walls of a Bass Pro Shop. It's tactical in theory, kind of like how wearing camo Crocs makes you invisible to women. And you know what? For the price, it ain't all that bad. It'll cycle, it'll shoot, and most days it won't choke harder than your uncle at a Thanksgiving football game. But calling it tactical is like putting a spoiler on a minivan. It ain't fooling nobody. G3 Tactical owners are the type of folks who watch SEAL Team on TV, do mag dumps at the gravel pit, and post about situational awareness while forgetting where they left their wallet. You bought a budget gun, dress it up for Halloween, and now you're trying to LARP like John Wick on a payday loan. Ain't nothing wrong with saving money, but don't act like you cleared Bin Laden's compound with your Taurus, Travis. Oh man, the Beretta 92 FS. This one right here, this ain't just a pistol, it's a midlife crisis with walnut grips. You saw this in Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, and maybe in that one VHS tape your cousin still watches in the garage, and you thought, yep, that's me. This gun is so big and shiny, it practically comes with a leather jacket and divorce paperwork. It's smooth, it's heavy, and the DA trigger pull is longer than your ex's apology text. The military used it for years until they realized lighter, smaller, and less annoying to clean, well, that's the way to go. Beretta 92 FS owners are the kind of guys who won't shut up about Italian craftsmanship while shooting low and left all day. They'll wax poetic about open slide design like it's the lost gospel. Meanwhile, they're trying to carry a boat anchor on their hip and just wondering why their pants keep falling down. You buy one of these, you ain't looking for performance, you're looking for nostalgia. And hey, I get it, I still miss Blockbuster too. Now, here's one that thinks it's the second coming of Glock Jesus, the Shadow Systems DR920. This pistol is basically what happens when a Glock goes through a midlife crisis, joins a CrossFit gym, gets a sleeve tattoo of tribal or some flames, maybe both, starts calling itself an experience. You want slide cuts? Boom. Stapo grip? Boom. Fancy flat trigger? Boom. All that, and it's still just a Glock that charges $350 extra to wear Yeezys. It's a pistol for the guy who brings a GoPro to the range and calls his mag dumps content. DR920 owners be out here talking about performance gains like they're tuning a Civic with a vape pen and a Dream. But don't get me wrong, it shoots pretty nice. It better shoot nice at that price, but when you boil it down, it's still launching the same old 9mm at the same old targets as Joe Bob's $499 Glock 17 with electrical tape on the grip. You ain't special, but you're just accessorized. And last but never ever least, because memes never die, we've got the High Point YC9, the Yeet Cannon, the firearm equivalent of a gas station hot dog. Questionable at best, but somehow it still gets the job done. This thing ain't just ugly, it's offensive. Makes a Glock look like it walked a runway in Milan. Holding it feels like you just grabbed a brick that someone tied to a gun using only hate and a Dremel tool. This thing's chunkier than your uncle's flip phone from 2003 and it is twice as dense, but guess what? It yeets anyway. This is the cockroach of the handgun world. You could drop it off a building, run it over with a lawnmower, and it'd still ask, "You good?" before sending lead downrange. Nobody's buying a YC9 to flex. You buy it because your self-worth is not tied to slide cuts or Cerakote finishes. You buy it because it was on sale and came with a free bottle of motor oil and a Slim Jim. You don't carry it, you commit to it. Scratch it? That just adds experience points. You drop it? Well, gravity just helped with a field strip. Forget it in your glove box for maybe, a decade? Congratulations, you now have an antique that still works better than your ex's emotional support Glock. Let me tell you something, folks. This is a gun you bring when you care less about Instagram clout and more about staying alive on Taco Bell runs gone sideways. And that is the roast, folks. If your full-size 9mm made the list, take it like a man or trade it in. Either way, drop your pick in the comments and let the chaos begin. Smash the subscribe button if you like your gun talk brutally honest and, just slightly unhinged. We'll catch you in the next one. Keep your mags full and your ego in check.